Have you ever wanted to use audio and video on FoundryVTT just to figure out that it needs SSL and HTTPS? If you thought that it is a dead end, I have good news for you. Today I'll show you how to buy a domain, start an Amazon Linux server on EC2, and of course install FoundryVTT with SSL enabled on your server. Let's go. The first thing you need to do is access AWS and create an account on it. As soon as you get the account, we can start our tutorial. When you got your account up and running, you just go to the search bar and type Route 53 and access it. Then go to Hosted Zones. Click on the yellow button here and you will create a new hosted zone. Here's the hosted zones configuration, and the first thing you need to do is add your domain name in here. But wait, you don't have a domain name. Let's create it. And in this tutorial we will use Google Domains as domain provider, but you can use any domain provider you want. So let's go to Google Domain. When you reach your domain provider, all you need to do is search for the domain name you want and buy it. So in my case, let's search for Foundry, SSL, and see what we got. We have a bunch of domains in here. Now I would just click in here to add it to my cart and then manage it. But you can do it the way you want on your domain provider. The process to buy a domain is really straightforward, so I'll not cover that on here. But after you buy your domain, all you need to do is reach your domain list page and click on Manage. It could be Manage, Settings, Adjust, Config. It doesn't actually matter, but you need to add some configuration on the domain you buy it. On your domain configuration page, you go to DNS configuration. In this page, we will need to add some configurations based on our hosted zone on Amazon. But wait, we didn't create our hosted zone. Do you remember? We need to get our domain name to add as name on hosted zone. So let's grab our domain and add it here as a name. We don't need to add the description, and we can let the type as the main one and hit create hosted zone. With the hosted zone created, we can see that we have that value hot traffic 2 and a bunch of names. This is our name server for our hosted zone. Next, we need to get back to Google Domains and go to personalized name servers. Is the option right next to the main one. And here we need to add our name servers. If you remember, we have our name servers in here, and we will add them there on Google Domains. With that, we're basically saying, hey Google, don't use Google default name servers for that domain. We should use Amazon ones. So let's do it. After you add all your configurations, you need to hit this button. It is change to this configuration. Now it's using Google, even though we add our name servers for Amazon. So we should hit this button here. So now we're using default Amazon as name server instead of Google. So we can just go to Amazon right now. Now we need to create our actual server that will host FoundryVTT. For that, all you need to do is click here on the search bar, search for EC2, and click here. On this page, you will click on Launch Instance and Launch Instance again. Now we need to add a name for that server. In this case, I'll call it Foundry SSL. Let's use the main Amazon Linux because it's free tier eligible. Also, we will use the instance type as T2 micro because it's free tier eligible. We will create a new key pair. We will use that key pair afterwards to access our server. Otherwise, we'll kind of lock it out of the server, you know? So let's create a new key pair here. Let's add a name for it. In this case will be Foundry on Cell. And in my case, I'll use PPK because it's easier to use with PuTYY. That's a service we will use afterwards. Then click on Create Key Pair. Let's save our key pair on the desktop. Save here. Continuing our configuration, we need to add a network setting because we need to get access to the server to SSH, and to do so we need to allow our IP on that server. Okay, so basically in here we will allow SSH traffic from, click on My IP. It will allow your IP to access the server. After that, click on Launch Instance. Instance created. Let's view that. Click on View on Instance. I have my other FoundryVTT instance in here, but that's the one we created, Foundry AllCell, right? It's pending right now because it's creating the server and everything inside it for the base of the configuration for everything. So don't worry, it takes a little while. When it finishes, I'll get back. Now that our server is up and running, we will create a elastic IP to avoid that the IP changes when we restart the server. So we go here in elastic IP. Where's the option? Elastic IP. Allocate elastic IP address. Choose your region. You can use the one is defaulted in here and click on Allocate. With your elastic IP created, you will associate it to your server. So you will open your created elastic IP and click on Associate Elastic IP Address. Here we will choose our brand new server. In our case is FoundryVTT LSL, in your case is the name of your server. Then you choose the private IP address. It will suggest it here. You click here and click Associated. With your associated elastic IP, you go again to the instances. If you click on your server, you will see the elastic IP right here. It's not showing. Maybe if I refresh my page and click again in here. Yep, we already got our elastic IP. Now, before we connect on our server, we will need to add something on its configuration. So let's go to Security Groups and get your security group here. It's not the default one. It will be Launch Wizard something. In my case, it's this one right here. Select it and click on Actions and edit Inbound Rules. Here we will add some rules to make it possible to access through Foundry, to make it access through website, and so on. So the first rule will be HTTPS TCP 443 custom, and it will be 0 because we can access it from anywhere through HTTPS, right? Let's add another rule called HTTP. It will be 000 also. And we have a custom TCP rule that will be the default port for Foundry, that is 30,000. And it is 000 also. And then we can hit Save Rules. Now our server is up and running and with its configuration to allow it to be accessible through a website. Now we will get inside of the server to install Foundry actually. To get into in our server, I will use PuTYY, but I have to say that it's just for Windows. If you're using Mac or Linux, it will not work probably, so you need to search another way to use SSH connection. You just need to search for PuTYY on Google, but the site is putty.org, is simple, and click download PuTYY. After click there, you get on this weird window, and you would think that it's a virus, but it's not, trust me. But you need to download the installer from one of these links. The thing is that you need to know your system, and to know that you just need to go to Windows and search for configuration. Once you are on the configuration tab, make sure you are on the system tab and go to about tab. Here you will have type of system or something like that, and you will see, in my case, is x64. If you got another thing, you just need to download the right one. Since mine is 64, I had to download this one. If it was 32, it will be like that. If it was ARM, it will be this one, okay? So click here, you will download the installer. After that, you just need to install the software, is really common, and we will get there after the installation. Now with PuTYY installed, you need to Windows, PuTYY. It will open that weird window that we need to add some information on that. Let's go again to EC2. And we will get a couple of informations in here. So we need to get this address here. And on the host name, we will type EC2-user at and paste your name server. The port is 22 and it is SSH. Then you will go to connection, SSH, open it, off, open it, credentials, and click on browse. On this browse, you will need to find the PPK we save it on our computer. In our case, we save it on the desktop. So click here and open it. Then hit open again. Accept. It authenticates and boom, we're on the server. Now that we got into our server, we will use the installation guide from Foundry to install Foundry on the server, okay? So we will go down there with hosting a dedicated server with Node.js, and we will use that for Red Amazon Linux. We're using Amazon Linux, by the way. So we need to run these commands on our server. This is really straightforward. You just need to copy the command here, open the server and paste it. But to paste it here, you need to use the right click, not Command V or Control V, okay? So paste it and hit enter. It will run a bunch of command, but it's okay. If the command is different than what I got, don't worry about it. You just need to make the command run. So copy the second command, paste it here, hit enter. Copy the third command, paste it here, hit enter. This one could take a while, I'm not really sure. Let's see. No, it was really fast. Now we need to download Foundry in here on our server. We are already on the right folder to download it, so you don't need to do anything else. But we need to do a couple of specific steps on Foundry to get the right URL to download your Foundry with your key. What you need to do is get into your Foundry license page, and in here, operational system switch Linux, Node.js. and then you will click here on timed URL. Why time it? Because this URL probably will not work anytime. It will have like 5 minutes or something for you to download it. So you click in timed URL and the link was copied to your clipboard. Get that URL and paste it on a text note to save it for later. So we need to get back to the Foundry installation page, and all we need to do is copy all these comments in here. I have to mention, my server is cleared, but it's just because I run a command to clear all of this, but I'm on the same step as you, don't worry about it. All we need to do is copy each of these comments, paste here, and hit enter. For every comment, we're creating a FoundryVTT server, FoundryVTT folder, a Foundry data folder. We're entering on FoundryVTT folder, and then on this command, copy it here, got on your save for later text, paste it in here, copy your URL, and paste it between the aspas. So copy this whole comment, go to your server, paste the comment and hit enter. This is downloading FoundryVTT in here. Let's wait till it finishes. Oh, it already finished it. So you need to run this other command. We can now just run the commands again. It will unzip the folder because it was zipped. It's unzipping. Let's wait a little while. That's it. And then we can start the server, but we will not start the server like that. If you want it, it will work, but I have to mention this will not work if you close the session. Like if you close this, it will close your server. You will need to let it open to use the server, which in my view is a little bit annoying. So I will show you at the end of the video how to let it open even if you close the server tab. But for testing purposes, let's start server right now and check if it's working. So copy this command here, paste it here and hit enter. It should start our server. Seems like it's working. Go again to your EC2 server, copy your public IPv4 DNS, paste it in here and hit enter. Oh, I forgot the Foundry port. It's working! Awesome! But we're not finished. We need to point our domain to our server and add SSL to it. So get back again to EC2 page and copy your Alaska IP address. With that address copied, go to Route 53. Open your hosted zones and click on your domain. Now we will create a new record. We don't need a record name. It is record type A, so it's okay. And paste the IP in here and click create records. It was created, simple, and my IP. So now if I access it through dungeonchest.pub column 3000, it's working. Now we just need to enable HTTPS in here to be able to use video and audio. But you may ask, but it's not possible to use HTTPS in here. It's not, because if you do so, it will not work, because your server doesn't support HTTPS yet. Like, it supports, but is not configured. To be able to use HTTPS, we will use the FoundryVTT SSL and HTTPS tutorial, but we will change it a little bit. Got into tutorial, and we will got in here SSL generation cert using Certbot Linux. First of all, it says to you install it through one of these commands, but it will not work on Amazon Linux. That's the Linux we're using right now. So in here, our server is running. You need to Command C, it will close the current server. We close the server, and we will install it through Python. It's just another library. You don't need to worry about it. So let me grab my cheat sheet in here. No worry, I will add it on the description, but we will need to use it slightly different. Oh, I mistyped it. Let's do again. Okay. These other comments. And let's install Certbot. Okay, and now the last comment. I think if we wanted to test if it's working, we can type Certbot in here and it throws an error. It means like Certbot is working, so it's okay. We can now move forward following the tutorial in here. So from terminal type, Certbot standalone and your domain in here. In my case, is dungeonchest.pub. Hit enter. Oh, I need to run it as sudo. Good to know. Dungeonchest.pub. Enter. I forgot about this step. I need to add a email address, so I'll use my personal one. Yes, just press Y and enter. Y and enter. It's registering our certificates. It's created. Let's see the next step. Wait till the verification complete. Once complete, it will place a .pen file in this folder. First of all, let's get to that folder. But to do so, we need to be root user instead of the EC2 user as we are right now. So sudo su to be a root user. Now we are root user. Type cd space / etc / let's encrypt / live / your domain. It's the same thing as here, right? My domain is dungeonchest.pem. .pub. I'm sorry. I got there. If I type ls, I can see all my files in here. The next step says to copy it full chain and private key.pem to the config file for Foundry. But on this step, I need to let you guys aware that the config file is not here. I was trying to find it and it was not working. All you need to do is copy the file to another location that I'll show you guys. Now, what I need to do is cp to copy a file, full chain.pem / home / EC2 user / foundry data config. We should paste it in here with the name of the copy. In this case will be the same one, fullchain.pam. And we will do the same for the other file that is private key. Priv key.pam and priv key.pam and hit enter. Now let's see if everything goes as we expected. So cd/home foundry, EC2 user foundry data config ls to check. It's here, fullchain and privkey.pam. Both of them are there. Well, I had to create a huge cut here because I found a bug and was kind of hard to solve, but anyway, before we move forward, we need to exit the root server, so exit in here, and then we should go to the FoundryVTT folder. We're using .. to move back some folders, FoundryVTT folder, and then we should run this command in here to run the server. We need to run the server to say to Foundry, hey, use that privkey.fullchain.pam as SSL providers, basically. So let's run our server. We're running the server. Let's get again to our server. In your case, it's probably will pop up that initial login Foundry. So you had to paste your key there normally and so on. And then when you got in this page, we got to configure, and in here SSL certificate and key, we'll add in here fullchain.pam and privkey.pam and save your configuration. After that, the tutorial said that we should shut down the server. So go again to your server, Command C, and launch your server again. So go to installation guide, copy the command to run the server, and hit enter. Seems like we need to run it as sudo because we're using private keys. So sudo, you type sudo space and the command, you just copy it and press enter. It's working. Now, I think it should work. I really don't remember. I'm sorry, team. Now it should be using HTTPS. So in here that we added HTTPS and it didn't work, you can use it now. HTTPS column / and hit enter. It should work. Let's see. It's working. That's it. So I'll show you guys how to enable audio and video just in case to make it a full tutorial, okay? So let's install a D&D system. 5E. Where is it? Well, here. Okay. We installed a D&D 5E. Let's create a world. LSL. Hit create a world. Oh, I need to define my system. I forgot it. And hit play. Let me log in as master. And now, what you need to do is close this. Go to your settings, configure settings, audio and video configuration, and now it's disabled. So let's enable audio and video. save changes, it will restart the world, so hit yes. You should hit allow in here, in my case it's permitter, but allow, and that's it. Here's my cam, and it's working. I promise. I don't have anyone to test with me, but I promise you it's working. Now you can call your friends and play together in FoundryVTT with cam and audio. But before we end this, I need to let you guys know about a couple of things. The first thing is that when you're not using your world, you can turn it off. So let's go again to EC2 in here, and let's say in instance, and let's say I'm not using the free tier, I'm using a paid one, but I don't want to pay when no one is using it, right? So if you wanted to turn it off, you just need to click with the right button on your server on EC2 and click Stop Instance. If you use Reboot Instance, it will not be that great because it will start again, and Terminate will actually terminate it. It's not what you want. Stop Instance, and when you want to, someone wants to use the server, you can start instance when it's possible. But I have to say that if you stop your instance and start it again, you will need to start the Foundry server again, just like that. So keep that in mind, that when you stop and start again, you need to go again to the server and start Foundry. Another thing that's worth to mention is that we tried to use it on Opera GX and it didn't work. It didn't work at all. So if you wanted to use Foundry voice and video, don't use Opera GX. Use Chrome, Brave, Safari, but not Opera GX. Another thing that's worth to say is that when you stop and start again, you need to access your server, but you will not be able to access your server if your internet changed for some reason. If your IP is not the same, you will not be able to access your server, and you will need to update your security groups, otherwise you will not get into your server. So to update your security groups, go here, click on your launch wizard, actions, edit inbound rules, click in here for SSH and my IP to update with your new IP. Your IP could change if your internet gets down, or anything could happen with your internet provider that it can change your IP. But if that happens, or if you expected some issues trying to access your server, go here, try to update your IP, it could solve your problem. Another thing that happened to me a lot of times, but I didn't figure out what's going on, is that if I add my address in here, but I already added my credentials and leave there and go in here, for some reason I lost my credential that I added. It doesn't make much sense to me, but I would say to always add first in here and then add in here, that it would work as you expect. I almost forget it, sorry guys, but how can you leave PuTYY tab without close your server? Because right now, if I copy this, no, I need to get into FoundryVTT folder, cd FoundryVTT folder, and I paste it and run it. Oh, I forgot the sudo keyword. Sudo. My server is running, and I'm able to access it in here, right? But if I close this window, the server will turn off. Now I'm not able to do anything. Errors anywhere. So how can you solve it? Well, there's a hard and difficult comment that I found on internet that helped me to make it work. I'll leave that comment on the description. But basically what you need to do is almost the same thing we do with the current command, with a small little change. Foundry FoundryVTT. What we have to do is this. What it's doing, we can see that from here it's almost the same command. It's exactly the same command as we're copying from the installation guide. But no hub is a command to run something on the background of the current user, and set seed makes that command runs aside of my current user. So it kind of create a new user instance. It's not exactly it, but it kind of create a new user instance and run that command on that new user. So when I close it, that other user is still running it. So we're able to use Foundry even closing this window. So take a look. Now it's working. That's it, actually. It's working. So if I try to reload this, Foundry is working. But if I close this window, I can run my server still, because it's not tied to my current user, you know? But that's it. That's everything. I hope it helped you guys. Let me know in the comments if that helped you, and see you in another video. Thanks for watching.